And we're going live impromptu. This is not an official show, but this is a topic that came highly suggested. So I want to give a shout out to all of the people that sent this to me. It seems like other bloggers have not picked this up yet. Because I wasn't able to access this from my desktop, so I have to access it from the phone. And so we're going to be jumping right into it. This is the tragic tale of Black ghetto struggle love, young Black ghetto struggle love. It's a sad story which has a bittersweet I don't want to say end to it, but we need to dive into this to look at the self-love lessons. I got to get the message out to the text notification squad, so I'm waiting for this to go live so I could get the link from YouTube. Because there's a little bit of a delay. You see the young lady on the screen. Beautiful young lady. Oh, welcome in. Okay, so you all are in here now. Wonderful. I'm so glad. Welcome. Welcome. Man, I don't even have anything that I can say before we look through this together. I do feel refreshed. I I would have done this story yesterday, but I slept literally. I slept almost 13 hours in the night. Then I woke up. I wasn't feeling 100% yesterday. I tried to eat a little something. I went back to sleep. And then I slept for another 3 hours. I don't know what was going on with me, but I just woke up looking like this. No foundation needed, skin aglow. I shed some pounds over the night. It was just, oh, I'm looking good. Yes, thank you. But that's not why we're here. But thank you. We're going to be going into this video. So let me grab the link from YouTube. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome. I want to do a video talking with you all, but this story here has to be told today. And then we're going to get live on all of these other platforms. So it's going to take me about another minute or so to get this link out to the text notification squad. So if you want to run, go grab a snack from the kitchen and then run back, that'll be cool. And then we'll just be getting started around then because I'm typing out the text right now. So give me just one momento. Uno momento, por favor. Uno momento, por favor. All right, so here we go. Text notification squad, your text is about to go out. Let me just get your name in the text. Let me get the link in here and then put it in the text. Let me type out the title real quick. Actually, let me just cut and paste the title. This is, you know what? Let me see who has heard of this story. If you've heard of this story, go ahead and throw up the number 1 in the text in the thing. Let me see. All right, let me just type live now. Tragic tale of young Black ghetto struggle love. Come over, hashtag TKO text squad. And if you want to get a text whenever I go live so that you don't miss it, because the young lady who tagged me in this on TikTok, she was like, I'm running over to YouTube right now. So if you never want to miss another video, $1.99 a month supports the channel and it supports you too, because you're able to get a text anytime that I go live. I make sure that you get your text. And so here, it is sending right now. Whoo, Lordy. Someone's saying they can't hear. You should be able to hear me. If the person who can't hear, tell her to refresh. All right, welcome in, welcome. So it looks like many people have not heard of this yet. Okay, well, you know what? We will be the first to talk about this. And as soon as this text goes out, we're going to get live on these other platforms. So while we're waiting for that, let me know how you all have been. Okay, so Sydney's heard of it. Lisa's heard of it. Okay, wonderful. Just waiting for the text right now. Oh goodness, I forgot to press the double send. So we're still waiting. Have you all noticed anything new about my background? Have you noticed anything new? Hey, I was gonna do a video yesterday to let you all know because it came in. I had it specially made with my signature, the Tanya TKO signature. But like I said, I was feeling under the weather yesterday and spent a great deal of time just resting. The text they has been pulled to wait for approval. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and get live on these other platforms. The text is in queue and it will go out. So, yeah, Luva, you don't want to pop popcorn for this because this is sad. This is sad. All right, so let's go ahead and get live on. Let me refresh to see if the text is going, if because it's been held for approval. Okay, it's been approved. The text is going out. All right, so let's get live on these other platforms. All right, we are live on Twitch. We're live on. Let's get live on. No. We are live on TikTok. All right, come on through. Coming through. We are live on Facebook and we are live on Instagram. Welcome in, everybody. I am your host, Tanya TKO. And as you know, I am a self-love specialist. That is the text that has gone out to the text notification squad. When you get in here, put up your 1010 so that I know that you are in the building. Welcome. Renee lives under a rock, which is fine. This is what I'm here for. I'm going to show you all this. Listen, this is worse than struggle love. This is worse than struggle love. When you see the story for yourself. So thank you to all of the people who sent this to me. I am your host, Tanya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist from TanyaTKO.com. I hope you learn how to love yourselves and one another. This story right here, and listen, I need you all to stay tuned. We went live on Fanbase last week, and I love interacting with you all live, and this goes in line with this story because I am going to be doing a push to recruit marriage-minded, eligible men for my matchmaking service to be able to bring them to you all. I'm going to come out and survey you all to see what it is that you need in the service, because I'm switching things up behind the scenes and I want to be able to bring you all together, but I want us to be able to come together I want us to be able to do the work. So I'm going to be offering you all some coaching, getting you all relationship ready, and then I'm going to be bringing you all together for dates, and we're going to figure out how we're going to do that. So stay tuned. Make sure that you're on the text notification squad. We broadcast behind the scenes, but that's fine if you didn't catch it on Fanbase. But being on Fanbase let me know that there's a lot that we need, that a lot of us are hurt and we just don't know how to meet and find one another. So let's get right into this story. I don't know this young lady's name, but she has a series of photos, right? Hold on. I got to get the music out. Okay. Met my FL when I was 15, 16. He's in the photo right there. He's on this side. You can't really see him because he has a do-rag on his head. But they met when they were young, so she didn't know what she was looking for, right? They're hugged up in the mirror. She looks like she's wearing men's undergarment. Young love, right? This is an image of him, and it looks like he's on some FaceTime with another young lady. You see his face looks enamored. It says, figured out he was cheating on me with my coworker, and started talking to somebody else, right? So that must be the coworker in the upper right hand corner. Then got depressed because I missed my FL must be forever love or first love. Maybe it's first love, and dyed my hair. So she dyed her hair this beautiful raven red color. It's beautiful. Love it. All right. Got back with him 2 months later, right? I guess that's him laying on the bed. You see some legs in the background, right? And I guess, is she sitting on top of him, or I don't know what's going on in that photo, right? The girl he was cheating on me with got her sisters and cousins to whoop my ass because he wouldn't leave me for her. So her nails is broken off. And if you know anything about having these nails stuck on, you know that the nail bed is very sensitive, and them things popping off, you know that hurt. You know that hurt, right? You know it hurt. Here we go. Got back with him 2 weeks later because He bought me flowers and wrote an apology letter. So this is him. When he's in photos with her, his face is covered up. But when he was on the line with the other girl, face was in full view, right? So here he is hugging up on her. He got her flowers and an apology letter. Spent prom alone. He cheated on me with his ex that night. So this is her prom night, looking cute, but she's alone. She has on a cute dress. She's in front of the car, but she's alone, right? All right. Gave him one last chance. This time, he really promised to never cheat again and introduced me to all his family. So prom is about 17, 18. So they were together for 3 years. You're dating at 15. You ain't met a person's family member yet. Where were you all connecting at? But you know what? I'm not blaming the young lady, because this is a story that needs the self-love lesson, because many people don't know what to look for, especially if you're young like that. And I can imagine that with this cheating and taking back, she has seen this before. This is something that has been normalized to her. So she's acting out some parental stuff going on in this relationship. Maybe a father who wasn't there. Maybe a mother who continued to let a man in and out. We don't know. We don't know. But let's continue. Left and went to Miami to see my family so I could left off some emotional stress. So that's probably let off some emotional stress, right? Okay. Came back home and beat the crap out of him because he was watching his ex story and liking her pictures on Instagram. So now we see that we are in a toxic cycle. So now she's fighting with him. He got scratch marks in his chest that she has taken pictures of and is now posting. Let's continue forward. Figured out I was pregnant. You see the little baby bump, right? You see she got her little baby bump there, right? I need you all to read this for me because I don't know if I could read this out loud. He SHOT me and capital K word, our baby, quote unquote, on accident. So as you see, the staples go all the way up to her sternum, way past her diaphragm. Who knows what happened to this young lady? How did this on accident happen? Was he twirling it around like Billy the Kid and then was like, ooh, pop, 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 pop? How did this happen on accident? And the accident is in quotation marks. Did the gun fall and was like, pop, pop, up into the air? But if somebody is that accident prone, right? And you could have capital D worded that night, become unalived. If somebody is that accident prone and clumsy with a lethal weapon, you need to be around them, right? Then here we go. Figured out he was cheating on me with the same girl from my old job while I was in the hospital from being SHOT by him. I see some messages say, you up, who this, who else, number not saved. So, but okay, I don't know who this is. Of course, I know it ain't saved. Anywho, I'm up. What's up? You can come now, but wait time you go. But what time you gonna leave? I don't know what time I got to. So he's inviting her over. He's inviting this other young lady over while this girl is in the hospital, right? Here. He bought me, I don't know if you can see this. He bought me a promise ring, so I took him back this one last time and forgave him, right? Now listen. We all know what it's like to go back and forth in and out of love, right? For, well, relationships. I don't want to say love. for a variety of different reasons, right? However, when your life is on the line, when there's cheating and violence involved, this is toxic. It's not healthy. If you have, incongruencies, minor things that are not deal breakers, and you're like, well, you know what, maybe we need a little break to get some air, and the relationship was otherwise a healthy relationship, and you two are working on yourselves, and you decide to come back together and give it another shot, that's different. But when there's violence, when there's cheating, when there's gunfire, when there's your life on the line, you've got to do the inner work to figure out what is drawing you back into this situation. And yeah, one last time, listen. All right. Then got our first place together. So she's holding the keys, right? He got some, I don't know what this is. It looked like a blunt between the fingers and the mailbox key, while she got the main keys, because this looked like the security key right here, right? This is look like the security key, and it looks like the other ones. I don't know what that is, but let's continue forward. Started going out with my BSF more, my best sister friend, right? So I guess now she's going out, has to, I don't know. Built a very close relationship with his little sister, right? She looks very young, like she's about 11 or 12. I don't know if you can see her cute little face, right? Got into a hit and run accident, right? Started going on lots of vacations together, right? Got our second apartment together 9 months later. I don't really know how you get a second apartment 9 months later, because a lease is at least 12 months, right? We don't know what happened. We know that we just saw a video with people getting evicted. So let's continue going forward. Non-stop arguing and smothering each other led to us breaking up again. So that's him walking out the door, right? Ran up a bag after he left. I don't even know what that means. Young people out there, younger people, because I'm still young, but younger people, please tell me what this means. She ran up a bag. Ran up sounds like you ran up a bill, but she has the money in her hand, so it seems like maybe she earned the money. But with that many bills in cash, it doesn't seem like there's direct deposit going on. So maybe she was a waitress, a dancer, or something else. Me no know. Me no know. But anyway. All right. Then it says, Uncle died, so I got extremely depressed, right? It's a celebration of Robert. As you see, the man don't look quite 50 yet, but that's another story that we've been talking about in other videos. I need to come up with a video topic name for what's going on out there, the tragedy happening with Black men under 50. But let's continue. Or in their 50s, right? It says figured out. So now some people don't want to see that. So I'm going to put that on the side so you don't have to see it. Figured out let me zoom it. So I figured out I was pregnant again and got really sad. Cause I really missed him. Right. My health declined immediately. I had to make a really hard choice, but instead God made the choice for me. You remember she had been SHOT in her womb, abdomen. Goodness knows what's going on with this young lady down there now that her reproductive organs have been shot up. I actually got into an argument with a young lady who said she was a fan of mine. And I told her that we need to stop using violent terms to describe sex between men and women. Because, they got this term out there called shot up the club, which refers to unprotected intercourse in which a man climaxes inside. We have got to stop letting men let us become normalized to these violent terms for sex. Because when I start talking about her getting SHOT in her womb, I'm not talking about semen. I'm talking about cold lead. So goodness knows whether or not she'll ever be able to go full term. But she says God made the choice for her. I think it's your tattered womb that made the choice, because this man probably decreased your ability to be able to have children, right? Moved out the apartment we got together, reminded me too much of him. Healed later and fell in love. Chow, he walked me like a dog. He worse than my first love. Do not recommend dating Capricorn men. Girl, this has nothing to do with a zodiac sign. What was it that she was doing to heal? Because she, without doing the work on the inside, you will attract somebody that is still resonating on the same frequency as you. Where if you are in victim energy, you will meet a victimizer. She got out of this relationship. She said she healed, right? Sorry, you can't see the top part of it, but it says up there. Healed and met a black man 9 months later and fell in love. Child, he walked me like a dog. So walking someone like a dog is dragging them around on the ground as you beat them. This is what I heard. If you know a different definition for walking someone like a dog, let me know, right? But she's up there in the bed with this man. She's taking pictures, holding on to his hair. And she has invited another violent person into her life. And sometimes when I talk about the energy that we are putting out there, people like, oh, you're blaming, you're victim blaming. No, but I think that each person owes it to themselves to see what is it that you can do differently to not end up in the same situation or in a similar situation again. What are the early warning signs, the USOPs, the early warning signs of potential problems? Do you notice that he, like, I have never, when I saw this story the first time, I have never been in a relationship that had violence in it. Personally, I grew up with brothers and cousins, male brothers and cousins, who I learned very early on to respect the strength of men, to, how do I put this? To have reverence, to respect, to have reverence, to revere. I don't want to say revere, but to understand how violent men can be and how quickly violent they can be. I don't engage in loud arguments with men because I know that it's a volatile situation that can become out of control very quickly. So I don't get into those F your dad, I don't get into those loud arguments with men. If a man cannot control himself to speak to me like a human being, or with respect, or the respect that I deserve, I don't engage in those conversations. If a man starts screaming at me, hollering, right? I respect the bellows of a man's voice. I will shut my damn mouth until I'm out of his presence, or at least outside of arm's length. You start hollering, if I'm in the car with you and I can't get away, and I don't care. I respect my life, my safety, and I respect not wanting to be in the pain of, because no matter what somebody comes and does to retaliate, they can't take the hits off of you that you've already received. So I don't get into those. I don't curse nobody out, and don't nobody curse me out. But I can imagine that those are the precursors to violent interactions. I most likely have come into contact with men who have violent tendencies, but it has never escalated to that point, because by the time they start, it don't get to no punching walls and all that other stuff, because by the time you start hollering, if you can't control your holler, I'm gone. I'm gone. So let's continue forward, right? Then she says, it says, Paul and Apollo, servants of Christ, dear brothers and sisters. And then she has this little message: cut everybody I knew off completely, gave myself over to Jesus Christ, became celibate and never looked back. Spent spent every day since then with just myself and God. Life is so much better. She's eating watermelons out by the lake. 9/10/2022, the day I realized how much I grew mentally and spiritually. God has blessed me mentally, spiritually, financially, and physically more than I could ever imagine, right? And so that's the tale, that is the tragic tale right there. The tragedy of this is that now she's celibate, she's single, it seems like she's resigned herself to being alone, and it gets much better out there. However, we do need to do the work. Just saying that you found Jesus is not enough. You've got to get therapy. You've got to find your patterns, your programming, your internal belief system. I've been doing a lot of research and reading lately, and I have come to the realization that nobody escapes childhood without trauma. No one. And if you ever meet a person who says that they have escaped, that they had a perfect childhood, they're in denial, because just the very mere essence of being raised, you're going to incur some trauma by just being regulated. You're going to have the trauma of being told that you cannot be wild and free like a baby, that you have to sit still, that you can't yell out in certain areas. And so even in the best of scenarios, you're going to experience trauma from just being regulated. And that is a part of life. It's up to us as we grow and as we become adults to figure out what trauma we've incurred, and how do we get on the other side of it? How do we find healing for ourselves? How do we find healing? There we go. So I want to hear some of your, I want to see some of your comments about this whole entire situation. What are your thoughts about all of this? What is the self-love lesson that you have gained from this story? Look, Facebook users saying she broke that cycle and congrats to her. No. And I meet a lot of people who think that avoiding relationships is the healing. No. That's not the healing. You all know that I read tarot professionally, right? You all know that after my near-death experience, I became very in tune with messages from beyond. But nonetheless, when I read tarot, right? When I read tarot, is our captions not working? Have they not been working the whole show? Hold up. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you all. I'm so sorry. The captions have not been on and nobody said anything to me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I sincerely apologize. I turned them on, but it got cut off. But nonetheless, right? Here we go. Hey! Hey, oh, my sound is low. Here. Ooh. Hey. All right. Welcome. All right. So we just received a super apple from Steve. Thank you very much, Steve. There's no message with it. And so we'll just take it at that. Thank you. All right. Wait. Ladara is afraid of the apple. How can you be afraid of a person made of hearts? You're so silly. All right, so let's jump back into the story. So thank you very much, Steve, for supporting the show. We really appreciate the love. So thank you. All right, so let's talk. When I was, let me turn this down a little bit, sorry. When I was reading tarot, I had a woman who came on the line who she was nearly 70, right? She was, I believe she was 66, 67, something along those lines. And she was in a series of bad relationships, and she stopped dating for about 33 years. She just stopped dating. She concentrated on her kids until her kids were well grown and out of the house. And when she started dating again, she was at the same place mentally that she was in her 30s. She was experiencing the same issues because she merely took herself out of the dating game. So just finding, just finding God is not enough. Just finding religion is not enough. Just becoming celibate is not enough. It's not enough. What are you going to do about healing, about finding your patterns, about figuring out how to spot what it is that you have to look for in a person, figuring out how do you do things differently from before? How do you do those things? Because just staying out of the dating game is not the cycle being broken. That's you just stopping yourself from being in union with other people, but that doesn't denote that you have done the work to know. Listen, do not place links inside of my chat area, please. I'm talking to a person named Jackie. You're going to lose your privileges from being able to comment on the broadcast. So we have to do the things that we need to do inside to heal, so that we are then going out onto the dating field and knowing what to look for, knowing our worth, knowing how to what am I trying to say? Knowing how to look for these early warning signs of potential problems, knowing how to weed out bad apples, knowing what it is that we deserve, knowing how it is that we deserve to be treated, how we choose to be treated, and nothing less than that. I can imagine that this young lady had some issues that were going on in her home life that made this situation seem like a feasible situation in which to find healing. Because what happens is we end up meeting people who exhibit characteristics that are similar to a feeling that we felt when we were young. And if it's something that is unhealed, we will look for healing in this situation. So we're going to be like, okay, well, mom or dad was very violent. They didn't love me, but I know that I can find resolution for that in this relationship by getting this person who has similar characteristics to mom or dad, and getting this person to not be violent, getting this person to see my worth and not beat up on me, et cetera, et cetera. It's better to just go do the work on the inside to realize that there's this unhealed thing inside there, and not expect to find your resolution through relationship, because it you don't know, you cannot control other people. And even if you did, like, let's say you got, and it's just, the thing is that it never works out that way. People have to themselves want to change. They have to want to do different. And if you are accepting their behavior, if they are not in the process of creating shifts and changes in their lives, like, nobody has the right to put their hands on you. You don't have the right to put your hands on other people. Look, I don't even believe in violence-based discipline for children as the first resort. There's so many of us that are like, especially in the Black community, we're like, oh, I was whipped and beat and all of this other stuff, and I turned out fine. You're saying that from the standpoint of a person who endured those traumas. And the fact that you're saying that you're fine lets me know that there could be some cognitive dissonance going on. When you beat and whip your children, you let them know that somebody outside of them can do to their body what they don't want done to it. that there are many different messages that we send our children when we have our children hug and sit on the laps of people that they don't want to hug, w- that they kiss people and hug up on them even though they don't want it. There are a lot of messages that we send to them, and we cannot ignore the message that we send to children about their bodies when we whip and beat on them. All I'm saying is find another way. Find another way, right? And there's so many of us who don't want to find another way. There's so many of us who don't know how to talk and deal with conflict in personal relationships. We start cursing people out. We're quick to temper, quick to anger ourselves. We got short fuses, and we're like, we're okay with this behavior. But this behavior was instilled in us when our parents started walloping us in the head, face, neck, back, and body. Listen, I don't know if you all are hearing what it is that I'm saying, right? I can imagine that a child who has never been beat up on has less of a chance of going into a relationship in which violence is involved as a part of the relationship. If violence is not tied to love, I can imagine that your child has a less chance of going out there and accepting. I was watching this video the other day, and in the video it was this girl telling her mother that she was pregnant. They lived together. The mother was laid up on it was like a couch bed or something. The mother had on the bonnet. She was big and obese, and the girl came out and was like, "Hi, mama, I'm pregnant." And the mother was like, "Bitch, no, you ain't. What happened to them condoms I gave you? That means you ain't using the condoms." And she was like, "Bitch, where you gonna bring this baby?" Right? And I think a lot of us forget that there are a lot of different types of parents out there. When we see these men in the manosphere and they are disgusted and disgruntled with women, much of that started at home. Ask some of these men. There's this guy who I did a video with a few years ago. After I did this video, I felt like my energy, he never resonate with my energy. There was something off about him. And he would say things that made women think that he was trying to help women. But now people wanted me to do a video on how this man has completely flipped the script. And now he's attacking women and saying all this nasty, horrible things. I've spoken to this person behind the scenes. He was an associate of mine. The relationship that he had with his mother, oh, Lord. He's angry at his mother. He has all of these childhood wounds, and his mother was dating had a bunch of different coming in and out, and there was this one stepfather that he really really liked, and he didn't have enough money, so the mother broke up with the things that him and his child's mind interpreted. He doesn't really know what was going on, but he's angry at his mother. We have to remember that there are a lot of different types of parents out there. And listen, there's no playbook for how to be a parent, right? I'm just letting you know, please consider something different than violence based discipline. Consider a different way than cursing your children out, because I have never been called a B word by my parents, right? I have never been called the B word in a romantic relationship, and my girlfriends do not call me the B word. And you see on my platform, I do not allow people to call women misogynistic slurs. You don't call women 304s on my page. I give people one warning because, there's a lot of different ways of doing things. I give people one warning, and then you're blocked from being able to comment, right? You're blocked. It's as simple as that, right? But we have to remember that all of this stuff all of this stuff is connected. It's all connected. When one piece goes out of whack, or when one piece is this way, it connects to something else. Violence-based discipline, calling your daughters the B word, um, punching your sons up in the face, doing this, that, and the other. And then when they go out into the world, how does that child translate that? How do they then go out there into the world, and what is acceptable, right? What is acceptable for them to have in interpersonal relationships? Is it okay for people to call them the B word? Is it okay for people to slap them up? Is it okay for them to confuse, someone crossing over their boundaries, or confuse violence with love, right? A 304 is a coward's way of saying ho. So if you see these men typing 304s, because they're too scared of these platforms to really type the word ho out. So they type 304 because they want to be camouflaged, because they think that we not black and we don't know the lingos. I mean, I'm black, so I understand the creativity of cloaked words. So no, you don't do that over here. You don't do that over here. But nonetheless. How long have we been on? Oh, this video was nice and short. So what I'm going to do is, I want us to talk about this video. I'm going to open up the phone lines, and I'm going to open up the phone lines for 10 minutes because I want this video to remain under an hour. Okay? That's all right, right? So the phone number is 323-488-3149. I want to hear your thoughts about everything that we talked about. This struggle love, this ghetto love, her being shot in the belly and coming back into this relationship that had cheating in it, and all of this stuff going on and on and on and on and on. 323-488-3149. Phone lines are open, and I'm ready to take your call and hear your thoughts. If you've never called in before, now is your time. Now is your time to call in. You all remember pagers back in the days? For those of you who are grown and sexy, you're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Tanya, it's Katie from Florida.
Hey, Katie from Florida. Talk to me. What's your comment about everything that we've been talking about?
I was going to say that, of course, the young lady, she is dealing with, a lot of horrible things happening to her. And I'm not victim blaming, but, when you work on yourself first and you, work on your self-esteem and you love yourself and spend time with yourself, a lot of these situations can be avoided, like, the signs, the red flags to avoid, etc. And I could relate to her because, like, I'm still young, I'm a baby, but, way before I was immature, and, I dealt with toxic people people I thought were my friends, and toxic relationships. But because I wanted to be like feel loved, and not because of trauma in my childhood, and not really like my dad not really being a father much to me, I was around people and I was just looking for attention, but negative attention. But when I take time to myself and I focus on myself, staying single, I let go of those quote unquote friends. I know that I deserve better, and I know the red flags, and I
What are
know
what
like
are the red
who's not,
flags? Help people out. What are the red flags?
and what counts, like friends or dating wise.
Well, you said that you've done. I want to hear some of the red flags. Whichever case you're talking about.
Okay, for like friends, the red flags usually would be if they are like, what is that word? Like when they're leaving you out in certain stuff, and
Okay.
when they're talking bad about you, like, the people that was with me, they were laughing at me and joking, and every time I call it out, they're like, well, you can defend yourself, etc. But then I'm like, I really can't, because I knew at the point, like, if I can admit that I'm weak at some point, and then I tell them and they're not there, but then they defend someone else of their circle, and I thought, even though I was in their circle, etc., that was a red flag, but I didn't decide to look at it. But looking back
Okay.
at it, it was a
Okay.
red flag.
And what are some of the red flags
Um,
for dating?
Oh, for dating, definitely. So if the person, for me, I think if a person don't want to go out in public with you, that's a red flag.
Mm,
Like they don't want people to know they're with you. Like they're kind of embarrassed to be with
mm,
you. If they're like ghosting you for like a lot of long time, like if they're ghosting you for a week and then they come back and be like, oh, I'm sorry, my phone's dead, or like, oh, I'm sorry, I
mm,
got a new phone, etc. Stuff like that. That's a red flag. Or if
mm,
they don't respect no, simply if you say no and they're like, come on, like they're trying to like pressure
mm.
you into doing something,
Yeah.
that's a red flag that you should look. And I didn't look at those things because I wanted attention, but I didn't see it was negative attention. And then looking back at it, it's a red flag in attention that I'm like, I don't want that type of person around me. I'm not going to be with any of those type of guys, you know. But if you work on yourself
Yeah.
and you get your self-esteem high, you could avoid a lot of these things.
So what can people do? Okay, that's great. What can people do to increase their self-love, their self-esteem?
Okay, so there's two options. One of them would be therapy. I'd
Mhm.
recommend you, at first, in order for the whole process, you need to actually um, know the traumas behind it, and you need to figure out the trauma behind it. Someone else will tell you, et cetera, and then you can improve on that. And the second process will then come, which is being by yourself, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like, and basically just going out. I'd recommend taking a hike and just like
Okay,
um,
spending time in nature.
reflecting.
Okay.
Yes, reflecting
So
on
so
your like
let
the
me just
mind.
repeat this back in professional terms, okay?
Yes.
So getting therapy, going out into nature and meditating. Okay, go ahead.
And the last one would be stay off your phone for 2 days. I'd recommend. You don't need that toxic stuff from social media and YouTube and other stuff like that. They will literally send you back to the same thing that you were trying to avoid. That's what
Mm.
I would say.
So
Last, but
limit internet interactions. But
yes,
does a person need to stay off of their phone completely, just take like a digital break, or just unsubscribe from certain pages, or just don't go to certain platforms?
I'd say all of the above.
Okay.
I'd say all the above. If you're with someone, like if you're subscribed to someone that's actually good, yeah,
Yeah.
stay subscribed to them. But I would recommend that, maybe you should just unsubscribe from the negativity, and then just put your phone down. Just put your phone
Yeah.
down. You'll be fine. You won't die, and just reflect on yourself. Do some
Yeah,
self
I
motivation
feel
and
you.
self
I
reflection.
feel you on that. I feel you on that.
Yes,
Earlier
thank
this
you,
year, I
Tanya.
unsubscribed from a lot of content creators, and the quality of my feed improved. The quality just of my days improved. Like I didn't have a lot of that toxic, stuff on there. I realized that Black women had gone off the damn deep end when they started talking about aborting Black male babies. And then Black women started coming out attacking Black babies. It was very bizarre, talking about
Oh,
they don't, yeah, it just got very bizarre on the internet. So mm-mm.
last thing I'd want to say before I jump off is please, and I mean please, stop engaging with negative people, whether it's online or real life. I see many people like a person can throw negative energy, but don't think playing fire with fire is going to make anything better. It just makes you the clown, I don't know the exact phrase, but it's like um when you give a clown something about giving clown attention, you're a clown, you're joining the same circus as long as like with them. Do not, and I mean do not engage with people that's negative. Do not try to give them the same energy. I know you want to give someone a taste of their own medicine, but you're just going to be just as bad as them and negative as them, and you're just going to be the clown with them in the circus. Be the better person. Put your pride aside and your ego lower it down, and just like love yourself and admit your faults at sometimes, and you'll be better. You'll learn a lot of things.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's all I wanted
Well,
to say,
thank you so
Tanya.
much
Thank
for
you.
that. Thank you. You have a great day.
Bye.
All right, bye
You
bye.
too.
One thing that really saddens me about these lessons is that you have to experience it to get the lesson. That's the sad part, is that you have to actually go through it. Please don't mention names inside my comments, especially. Please don't. I don't fight on the internet. I think some of you think that I be playing. I don't stand there with all of this. I don't, in the face of men who are hollering at me. I don't deal with that, and I don't get into these drag down fights on the internet and make videos about. If you ever see me doing something like that, I just need you to tap me on my shoulder and be like, Tanya, what's going on with, because I'm going through something and I'm outside of myself at that point, because I don't do that. And I exemplify that with my actions. And it's like people can say whatever it is that they want to say. I do not, I move on to the next. It's as simple as that. Like when you would be roller skating back in the early 90s and you fall down, I don't stay there. I just get up and skate on past. Phone lines are back open. 323-488-3149. We're talking about this. Let's see how much time we have left. All right, we have time for one more phone call. 323-488-3149. We're talking about this tragic tale of young ghetto struggle love, where this girl kept taking this man back who was cheating on her. The relationship had violence in it. And then when she got pregnant, he somehow mistakenly almost took her out of her life. She had to get her whole entire abdomen stapled up after the life growing inside of her was snuffed out by firearm. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Maureen Cherry, and I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
All right, so we got Maureen from Texas in the house. Okay, so Maureen, talk to us.
Oh, hi, Tanya. I listened to your show this afternoon, and my heart goes out to this young girl. And due to the fact that she's a young girl, she did not have the experience or the strength to separate herself from that young man. She didn't know how to get away. Perhaps she didn't have role models, or perhaps she didn't have anybody at all to help her through it. And so, one thing I wanted to say to all women, we have to help each other, especially the young, those who would accept the help, because it's
Hmm.
unfortunate that she kept going back and she had some horrible things. And those things, you don't come back from those very easily by yourself. Yeah, you can go to therapy, but if you had someone like a mentor, you would get more out of it, because therapy, they kind of just do the textbook thing, but people who are a mentor, they can help you get through your trauma. They can even help you bring up your own self-esteem. And that's pretty much what I had to say. It's just I hate
Okay,
to
well
hear that we.
let's talk about this, Maureen. Let's talk about this. So you are kind of advising against therapy and using a mentor. Tell me,
Well,
what has your experience been with therapy that has you advising against it?
I don't advise against it. I'm just not one to go to the textbook therapy. I kind of believe in more of a, I mean, I hate to throw religion in it, but I kind of believe in more of a religious aspect. But a mentor, someone, let's say you have a woman who's actually went through something that you have went through, you can get more if you're willing to learn from someone else. There's a whole lot of things that you don't have to experience if you could learn from someone else. Now, if you go to I don't want to, I'm not against therapy. I just, not my first go-to thing.
Have you been to
You know,
therapy?
personally, no, no. I've
So if
really
you
never.
hold on, Maureen, hold on.
Mhm.
Because you're on my airwaves and you're talking about, therapy being textbook, right? But you're talking about going to a mentor or the religious route instead. But you yourself has never been to therapy. So how do you know whether it's textbook or not?
Well, okay, I understand that. Yeah, well, it is because to be a therapist, you have to have a degree. You have to learn you have to go to school. You have to do the books. You have to do the research. I'm not saying therapy is bad. I just feel like if we had help from people who have experienced things that they've
So
experienced,
people
it would
who are not professionally educated.
They can be professionally educated, but just not in psychology. You don't have to.
Right.
You can help someone.
Let's talk about this, Maureen, okay?
Mhm.
Because far too many of us Black people, we have issues with standard education. It starts very young in the neighborhoods where people are mocking people for going to school and excelling, right? It
Oh no,
sounds,
that's not what I mean
hold
at
on.
all.
Listen, I can tell that you sound like a woman who you yourself is educated, but the issue that you have with professional therapists is that they have gone through the route of collegiate and professional excellence in getting the training needed to be able to assist people on their psychological journeys.
I lost you. I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, hello.
I can hear you now.
Right. So let me, you know what? We don't have the time for me to go through the whole coaching aspect of it for you for you to reveal to yourself the flaw in your logic. I'm just going to say this outright, right?
Mhm.
Um, Whenever we are seeking counsel from a person, it is best to get that counsel from qualified sources. A mentor is okay for the position that a mentor holds if that mentor is not psychologically trained. They are not qualified to help us on our psychological journey.
Mhm.
A mentor is fine if this person is going to show us how it is that they got to where it is that they got according to what it is that they know. I saw a video earlier today on the internet where this woman was sitting up there and she was like, I would never eat a plate that looks like yours. You know what, as a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Let me see. Cause you know what? I sent it. No, I didn't send it to anybody. Let me see. I'm going to look for it real quick on my list because I feel that this is an important video for people to see. Give me 1 second. Here it is. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up for you all. Um, Give me just 1 second. Here it is. Here's the video. Let me turn the volume up and get this on my screen over here. Let me see which. All right. So I want you to tell. So I'm going to play this video for us.
Flesh and GMO corn. So what are you actually talking about?
But see, I would never eat a plate that looked like this. You couldn't even pay me $1,000,000 to do that to myself. Oh my God. I deserve better than that. That's low vibration. And you took it. I would have been like, I'm playing like that. I tell you what I want. You'll tell me what I want. So my thought process is if you put it on my plate, but I don't have to eat it, I got the distance. I won't even look at it. That make you look bad. I'm a queen. Queen's plate can last. If we had two plates, we plate together, and said who's royalty, they would say this person. I agree.
Can you all hear this?
That's a good rap.
Yeah, I can.
This is serious stuff. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that just let people give them what they want them to have, and they accept it. And Storm is teaching me right now. Yeah. Cold Storm is teaching me don't accept what they put on your plate.
But you eating flesh and GMO corn.
So let me
what are
just.
you
So
actually
I'm
talking
gonna
about?
pause this real quick, right? Because I want us to take a look, right? I want us to take a look at this woman's plate, right? So we have this woman on the right hand side who is like, I'm a queen. I would never let them give me a plate that looked like that. If they gave me if they look at the difference between your plate and my plate and who's the queen, they would know that this is the plate of a queen, right? This woman has shrimp on her plate, which are cockroaches of the sea. She's eating dead chicken, overcooked corn, which is most likely GMO unless it was organically grown, right? There's not a green vegetable on her plate. There's nothing live on her plate. Everything on her plate is dead. And she is speaking, preaching, and teaching from the space at the maximum amount of knowledge that she has. right? She's talking about what makes a queen and all this other stuff. The barbecue sauce most likely has high fructose corn syrup in it, all types of red food coloring in it, which lives in the intestines and messes up our system on the inside. She got the cockroaches of the sea on there. And she's also eating charred bits from the barbecue, which have been shown to be carcinogenic. But she is speaking from the maximum level of information that she has. And the women who are near her are like, wow, you're teaching me, right? But she's eating dead animal carcass. She's talking about she's a queen and there's no vegetables on her plate. There's nothing alive. And so when we start talking about whether or not we should go to psychological professionals versus mentors, a mentor is fine for what a mentor is, but a mentor is not qualified to psychologically go with you on your journey. A person who is psychologically trained, is it going to be textbook? Each person is different. Each therapist is different. There are schools of psychological thought. There's cognitive behavioral therapy. There's other different types of ways of assisting people. And when you talk to a therapist, you can ask them what method it is that they use, because at the end of the day, the journey is yours. The psychological professional is trained to be able to be there in that journey with you and hold space for you. What ends up happening with far too many of us is we go to people who are not qualified to be able to help us with the thing that we need help with. And we end up with incomplete lessons, getting scarred because we went to a person and we needed them to hold space, but they were talking over us. We couldn't really, they threw things back in our face. They weren't equipped to be able to assist us. And I want us to be
Yeah.
really careful when we start talking about averting therapists because it's textbook. A person who is psychologized, especially a person who has their PhD and a person who practices and knows how to work with people, they know how to sit there and hold space for you and ask you the right questions. Like the ones that I'm a trained life coach. So as a life coach, I don't tell people the answer. I ask you questions so that you can come up with the answer for yourself. And in the beginning of the call, I was, I was in that mode just asking you questions rather than just speaking and preaching. But we're coming down to the wire in terms of time. So I just started talking and teaching, which is something that I don't typically do when I'm dealing with callers, right? Um, Maureen, I implore you to strive for excellence in where it is that you receive your information. There are far too many of us who are going to churches where the people are not theologically trained. They've never gone to seminary. They haven't gone to theological schools. They are not educated on the Bible or taking people through the journey.
Hmm.
And we're going to these churches. We're going to
Do you mind
mentors
if I
and
ask you a
give
quick
me just one
question
second.
really
Give me
quick?
just, yeah, you
I
can. Give
do
me just one,
agree with
give me just one
everything
second.
you're
Give me 1 second
saying.
to finish this thought. They're going to
Okay.
mentors and life coaches when they need a psychological professional. A mentor, a life coach, and a therapist are different things. A therapist helps
Sure.
you go back in the past. And let's say you have a suitcase, the therapist helps you unpack the suitcase. A life coach is somebody that is going to speak with you about where it is that you're going and what to put in the suitcase. A mentor is somebody who is going to be there, who's going to be like, well, I went on this trip and these are the things that I did. So these are different people who hold different spaces. And I want us to be able to get the most qualified, most beneficial person for us in our journey. And I support therapy from a qualified professional 100%. All right, you can go ahead
Hmm.
and jump in with your
Okay,
commentary.
well, I agree with you, and I love the way you did that analogy. But do you think that people can learn if you see someone, especially let's say a seasoned person, someone who's went through a few things, someone who's learned the journey, someone who's passed the test? Do you think that someone could learn from someone who probably been through something that you're going through?
I think that the expectation is different as well as the outcome. I've had plenty of mentors A mentor is a person, first of all, this is a person who's not paid, right? A mentor is somebody
Mhm.
who is volunteering. A mentor is a human being just like this girl with the plate, and they are only going to speak from their purview. I've had mentors who tried to sleep with me. You know, as a young
Mm.
woman going out there, you know, you go, you find a mentor, you think that you're getting the lessons that you need. Meanwhile, late in the night as you're working, there's a hand on your shoulder. Come
Mm.
on. So what I'm saying is, when you pay a person, when this person is designated, or when your insurance company pays this person, and this person is a licensed professional, and a person is licensed by the state, there is a certain, like, there's a woman who came on my page, and she was a glorified mammy pick me, right? And she was talking about how we don't need boundaries, and she was like, I'm a life coach. And she was arguing. Remember when I put up that video with that white man who was like, there's feminine self-worth and masculine self-worth, and if a woman does not need to set boundaries, when every human being needs to set boundaries. This
Of
woman came on
course.
there, she was like, I'm a life coach. I said, tell me where you got your training, because I am going to contact the school that you went to get your training and find out why they're sending their life coaches out there to say that people don't need boundaries. And you know what she told me? She's not professionally trained. She just became a life coach because she just started coaching people. There is no
Mm.
standard. There's no standard among mentors. There's no standard among untrained life coaches. For those of you who care, you can see the school that I went to for my life coaching on my what is this, the LinkedIn page, right? And if
Mm.
you look, when you have a governing body regulating your behavior out there, if your mentor comes in and touches you on your shoulder in the night as you're working past 9 trying to get where it is that you need to go, and there's a hand on your shoulder and some whispering coming in, who do you talk to?
Mm.
There's no governing body. You're coming through from a person who is not trained and answers to no one. When you have a therapist, a professional therapist who is paid, who is licensed by the state, there is a standard of care. There is a body in which this person answers to. There is a certain amount of training that this person has to continue to get, and they have to continue to get their licensure. I am for therapy 100%, because if I'm going to get some, like, there are people who try to advise me online, and I'm like, listen, I have not hired you to be my life coach or my therapist. You are unqualified. A therapist, someone that I've hired, that I've vetted, and someone who I entrust with my mental health care. That's a different type of relationship. There's a different type of intimacy, professional intimacy, that is allowed in that relationship. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a certain amount of letting your guard down, opening yourself, because you're dealing with a person who is qualified. I have spoken with people who are mentors, and you try to talk to them. Sometimes they cut you off. Sometimes they don't hear you. Sometimes they don't really know how to hear you. Sometimes they don't hold space for you. A therapist, within that hour, right? They
Mhm.
are, I've already told you all not to put links in my area, in my chat. That person is designated to have that entire hour be about you. It's not about what they have for lunch, who they like, who they don't like, what football team is this. No. That hour or that 45 minutes is there designated for you. That is your time to deal with a person who is trained to be able to help you on your psychological journey. So please say whatever it is that you need to say. And then we're going to jump out, because I wanted to keep the whole show close to an hour. So thank you, my dear. I
Okay.
appreciate you calling
Well,
in.
thank you. Mhm. Appreciate you. Nice talking with you. You have a great day.
Same here. Same here. You have a great rest of your day as well. All right. So I appreciate you all coming out. Thank you all so much for being a
Are
part
you
of
eating
this
flesh and
broadcast. Oops, sorry. This video started to play in the background. Thank you all so much for being a part of this broadcast. With this young lady, like I said, I do not fault her. She's young and she doesn't know any better. And in this game of life, we gain the lessons after going through the experience. But I want to encourage us to do the inner work. Oh my goodness. Someone is saying I'm selling oil. Listen, the vitamin E oil will be sold. This is what has my skin looking like this. And I've also started putting it on my hands after I wash my hands, because I noticed that my hands were getting a little weathered, you know. So when I wash my hands, now I put it on my hand to keep the skin on my hands young. So yes, I am going to be selling oil. I sell it once a year. So make sure that you're on the mailing list. Text Notification Squad will be the first to know. And then we'll go from there, right? This person is going to be put and stopped from being able to talk. And so here, oh Lord, I see we got a troll in the house. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you all were dealing with a person by the name of Wild Bill and foolishness. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that person, but I got them now. But nonetheless. All right. So thank you all so much for coming out. If you're on this video after we've gone live, please put your comment in the chat area. Tell me what you think about this whole situation. If you have some words of wisdom for people who may need to hear from your experience, but you know what the thing about it is, regardless of what it is that we say, people are still going to have to learn the hard way. Seems like people are still going to have to figure things out on their own. And of which case I give people the latitude to do that. So listen, this is the end of today's video. Go out there and love one another. Most importantly, love yourself. And part of loving yourself is, let's go ahead and see those self-love lessons. Put them up in the chat. Come on, we're going to play a little bit of music. And I'm going to give you type SLL. And let's see the self-love lesson that you all have learned from today's video. A, 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 A. Come on, type SLL and type the self-love lesson that you learned from today's video. One of the self-love lessons that I realized and was cemented in me is when you go on a journey, find a person who is qualified to assist you on that journey. You know, far too often we as Black people, we do not have a standard of excellence from where we get our care. We're too giving people, oh my God, the thing done stop on us. Or is that just a thing? Let me unplug this. I'm sorry, it looks like the camera has gone out, but we're gonna get it back in just a moment. Or maybe we won't. Look, it looks like we're still here. I don't know what is going on. This camera has been overheating lately. All right, there we go. Let's get this back on. I apologize, you all. You know, when you're dealing with many different systems, you know, you got a lot going on. SLL, no more chances. A few months ago, I stopped listening to a list of songs that promoted struggle love. I know that's right. I love sound therapy. Thank you. We're working on doing, hey, Lisa Roxanne. We're working on doing a retreat. Don't trust everyone just because they have some degrees. Start from within, love yourself. Okay. Be patient with yourself. You're not alone. Never allow a man to abuse you. You know, it's never about other people. It's really about that self-abuse that you're abusing through that relationship. All right. Relationship avoidance is not healthy for a form of self-care. Well, it depends on which relationship you're avoiding. That could be the self-care in and of itself. SLL therapists help you to get to the race. Life coaches help you finish first. Okay, thank you, Tyra. Thank you. All right. Some people need more than boundaries. Put big walls up, big walls. Keep away from self-righteous individuals. When someone shows you who you are, who they are, believe them. Yes. Yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, somebody said, cause it's me too hot, me too hot. I go to therapy once a week and it's really good. I support therapy wholeheartedly. And I'm actually in the market for it for a new therapist right now. And in finding my new therapist, I've been interviewing a lot of different people about what psychological approaches they take on, tell them about what it is that I'd like to be in therapy about, and ask them which approach they think would be best for me. And also finding the person who has the highest level of degrees. You know, we Black people, if in the same video that we're talking about struggle love, don't get struggle help. Have a standard of excellence. Get the highest educated, the highest qualified person for you. Far too often we giving too many damn people a chance. We're giving too many men a chance, too many women, too many shops. We're like, oh, this place doesn't have reviews. Listen, when it comes to your psychological care, do not take chances at all. Let's see. Getting therapy isn't a white thing. Listen to your intuition and don't ignore the red flags. Let's go for one more minute. And then, all right. Know the difference between forgiving someone and your own freedom of allowing that person back into your life. P says, I love Tanya, but hate that music. How you gonna hate this? I like this music. It reminds me of like, hey, I like this. Well, you know what? Why don't you find me some other stuff? Tell me what music you like. Tell me what you like. Send it to me on my page, TanyaTKO.com. Click on contact and send me some royalty-free music that you like, and then we'll see. I want a Black woman therapist. That's exactly the thing. So you need to talk to your insurance company. My insurance company has a filter. You can filter by region, how they meet with you, whether in person or televisit. You can filter by what level of education they have, whether they're a social worker, master's, or PhD, whether they're Black, female. And so, yeah, so I am looking for a Black female therapist right now. I actually need to, because, you know, each year I make sure that I get psychologically evaluated. Me personally, I came out of the pandemic I was just in a state, and I'm better now, but I still want to I want to work with a person who can help me perhaps uncover some things that are not uncovered. When coming out of the pandemic, you know, with the death and the loss, and you know what, there's a lot of people who lost a lot during this pandemic. You know, 2 years is a lot for a person, depending on where it is that you are in your life, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, so I suggest that if you are having issues, it doesn't even have to be a big issue. I went to therapy because I couldn't stand Trump's voice. Whenever I would hear him on the news, I would get sick to my stomach. And the first therapist that I went to try out was a white male therapist who was like, "Oh, you seem like a smart young lady. You know, you shouldn't be having these issues." And I was like, this is not a safe space for me to express myself. Talking about you seem like a smart young lady. I changed therapists that day because that was inappropriate. Having a psychological issue has nothing to do with the level of education or your level of smarts or any of that, you know? So I never went back to him. I found a therapist. She was Latina. I couldn't find a Black female therapist at the time. My insurance company didn't have the filter that my Now insurance company, they take mental health very seriously. They have an entire department with customer service and everything. They even give you apps for your phone and all of this. I am not playing with my mental health. I need to stay on top of all of this. And I want you all to stay on top of your mental health as well. I want you to find the most qualified person to speak with you. I want you to find a person that you resonate with, because this is a person who's going to assist you on your journey. So yes, so I am working on finding a new therapist. I'll let you all know how it goes. I'll let you all know behind the scenes. I probably won't talk about this too much publicly, but if you're on the text notification squad, when we meet up behind the scenes, I'll tell you all how it's going, because you know we talk, and we hold you accountable behind the scenes when it comes to, you know, finding the help that you need. So text notification squad, we will be meeting behind the scenes again soon. Thank you all for helping me pick the colors for the lady in red lipstick pack. So thank you all for that. And I think that's pretty much it. Don't get your validation from plastic surgery people. Not the best source. What are you talking about? Who has had plastic surgery here? You all like the calypso music here. Here. All right. So listen. I will see you all in the next video. Hey, thank you all for coming out. We need to have a talk about fitness and health in the next video. Kiana says, talking to myself and God. Listen, God has given us therapists. So God is within you, and God does not have a physical brain or physical body like us. I suggest talking to a person who has a physical body and a physical brain. Hey. I will see you all in the next video. What happened? The girl in the video telling the girl what to eat, Tanya. They don't know what you're talking about. Oh, wait, she's had plastic surgery? I didn't even look to see. Let me take a look and see.
I'm eating flesh and...
Why are you saying that she's had plastic surgery? Is you're talking about her bosom? Is that what you're talking about? Let me see if I can get this on the screen. Are you talking about her bosom? Why are you saying she's had plastic surgery? I need to understand. How do we know what she's had? I don't. Are you talking about the gal bosom? We don't know. What are we talking about? Do we know? Have you all seen a before and after of her for you to know whether she's had plastic surgery or not? Oh goodness. Let me see.
GMO corn. So what are you actually
sometimes people
talking
get
about?
pumped up when they pull up their bikini. You know? Do you all know who she is? She's a stripper and she's had plastics. Oh, so you all know who that is. How do I know? I don't know who she is. And she's a scammer too? Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn minute. What? What? Wait a minute. Wait. I'm out of here. You all are gonna get me in trouble out here. Listen, I will see you. I will see you all in the next video. I'm done. I'm getting over here because you're all about to start name dropping. I will see you all later. Peace.